This is Robert Cedeno, the host of the Process to Purpose podcast. Again, we're here to help inspire, motivate, and encourage others to find their purpose through the process of spirituality, health, and wealth, using godly principles and values to break through to the life that God has called us to live. Again, go subscribe to us and give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and any other platform where you can find podcasts. Here's the next episode.
Today, we're going to be talking about my excuses, not everyone else's excuses, but my excuses and limited beliefs. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast, and I'm glad to be back. But that's why I'm talking about excuses and limited beliefs, because I've been making way too many excuses and I've been having way too many limited beliefs on why I'm not doing what I feel like I'm called to be doing and what I feel like I should be doing, because I've been doing too many of the excuse thing. I've been doing too much. That's basically it. Making excuses and not doing enough. That's basically it, because I've been lagging it on the podcast. I have not been on here like I should be on here. I haven't been interviewing anybody because of these limited beliefs that I've been having. So I'm gonna share some things that I've been struggling with. I'm gonna share a couple of things that I should be working on. And as you guys can hear, I mean, we have a family behind us. We have kids crying, right? So that's part of the excuses that are going on. I don't have the right location. I'm gonna get into all that, but so that's what we're gonna talk about: excuses and limited beliefs today. And I'm super excited about this. I'm gonna go out there and start asking people to be on the podcast, and obviously we want to get people who have the same values, same beliefs as us, who want to help people. And it's not just about getting people on here, but getting the right people on here. And I believe as long as I take the right action and I ask the right people, God's gonna provide. So I'm gonna get right into it. So there's been some excuses I've been making, right? So the main ones that I've been making is, for my podcast. And I'm going to go through a list of excuses and limited beliefs. And if anything comes up and you guys have anything to share, feel free to share it with me, for the people who are on the live segments. Also, so I have the podcast I've been making excuses for, my business, the performance I've been having, the results I've been getting in my real estate business, my accountability coaching business, which is like really new to people. It's something that I am just starting out. I really don't know what it looks like, but like everything else I've been doing with the podcast, I've been doing with real estate, I just kind of just jump in and figure out the rest later, right? So I do have a couple of clients I'm working with right now, trying to get their health right, trying to get their finances right, and it's all about accountability. And I think I'm going to have a whole different episode just for accountability later. But we'll get into that. Getting to 190 pounds, right? We all know I've been on the road to 190 for the past 2 years. I've gotten pretty close. The closest I got was 203 pounds. I'm talking really fast because I'm really excited, man. Yeah, so those are the main ones right now. There's a lot more excuses that I've been making, but these are the excuses that I want to focus on. Well, the main, I guess you could say, pillars that I've been making excuses for. So for the podcast, and I'm gonna read off a couple of excuses that I've been making, and from those excuses, I'm gonna break them down just a little bit for you guys, and then we're gonna talk about how, and more like what am I gonna do about it, and how it can. How it can help you, right? So I can say, hey, you can see what I'm struggling with, right? Because I like to be real on here. I like to open up and say, hey, man, I don't have everything figured out. So I want you guys to know that. I want you guys to, you guys see me wake up early every single day at 4 a.m. But there's a lot of things, a lot of people believe I'm disciplined, and I have some discipline, but there's a lot of things that I still struggle with, and I want to be able to share that with you guys, and I want you guys to be able to learn from it. So that's why I do what I do, so we all can learn. I don't have everything figured out, and I know you guys don't either. But as a community, we could come together and we can help each other out, guys. Amen to that. I'm excited. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to drink coffee when you're doing a podcast, but I love to because it tastes so good, and it kind of just calms me down a little bit. Even though it's decaf, it just kind of relaxes me. It's like, that coffee is in. It's good stuff. All right, let's get to it. So podcasts, I got some excuses and limited beliefs that I've been talking about, right? So one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with in just doing the podcast, right, is I don't have a place to record while I interview people, and I'm really scared of what people are gonna think of my shed, right? Because I do everything here in my shed, as you guys can tell. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm actually in a shed. Like it's like it's pretty cool. Like it's built really nice. I have all like our storage stuff on that side, but I have like a little mini office on this side. My boy Mondo hooked me up with a nice flag back here. I got, my sign on this side, and I got my name tag on this side. So I actually kind of set it up pretty cool. But inviting people to the podcast, and just being scared of what they're gonna think of it. Like, bro, you invited me to be on your podcast, but like, this is all you have. This is it right here. And so I start thinking about this stuff, and I start thinking about the people who are going to be on the podcast, and I'm like, nah, maybe I shouldn't tell anybody about the podcast or being on here, because I don't really have a cool setup like everybody else, right? Again, going back to what everybody else is doing instead of just worrying about taking the right action. So that's a limited belief, right? It's an excuse and a limited belief. Like, what if they don't really care about what the shed looks like? They're just happy to be here and share some knowledge, share some wisdom with the people. And I'm stopping that from happening because I'm so worried about what everything else looks like to everybody else. Does that make sense? That's a huge excuse. Like, that excuse, it shouldn't be happening. But I do allow it to happen, right? I don't have the right equipment and the right team to produce a show, right? I don't know if you guys know, but I'm actually recording this on my cell phone, right? I have it, and then I'm going live on Facebook on my laptop, and then I have another cell phone that I'm actually getting the internet from my phone because my internet's not that good. Another excuse. And I'm going live on Instagram. So I've been making the excuses. I don't have the team to do it. And guess what? I did it all myself. I have the lights set up now. I did the background pretty cool now. So like, just by doing it, by taking action, knowing that hey, today I have to do a podcast no matter what, I figured something out, right? But being able to produce a good show, I'm more worried about how it's gonna look at the end instead of just doing it, right? And I'm sure it's gonna be great. Like, once I pull it up and I edit it, so I got to do everything myself, right? But it's gonna look good, and that goes on to the next excuse and limited belief. It's a lot of editing and work to upload the podcast, and my system sucks. My system does suck right now. I haven't figured it out, but just like anything else, asking someone maybe for a better system, right? Going out of my way and be like, hey, how can I help this system that I have right now that's really not working? What are you doing, and how are you accomplishing and getting a good podcast by yourself, really? Because I'm by myself. And then doing the editing work, it takes a lot of time. I don't enjoy the editing and breaking it down, but I know it's part of it. And until I can get a team around me to help me out, then that's when it's gonna help. My boy Luigi, don't be volunteering. I'm not supposed to be responding to live videos, but thank you. So once I get that around me and I ask for further help, right? Or it's just, hey, let's find an intern that wants to help and learn editing. Like, hey, who knows an intern that wants to learn how to edit podcasts or film or content or something, right? To get them going where they're looking to start a bit. It could be something easy like that, but I'm making an excuse of why I'm not doing what I have to do, right? I don't have the time. I have the time. That's a bunch of BS, right? I don't have any kids. My schedule, it's flexible, so I should be working on the podcast and my coaching early, and then as afternoon, evening, as people are starting to get off to work, and really focus on real estate and hit it hard, door knock, make the calls. So it's almost like I have 3 days in my day, right? The first day, right? And I think Ed Milet says this, and I just really thought about this right now. But the first day is like, all right, I'm really gonna focus on feeding myself, getting my body right, getting my mind right, right. And the second day, I'm gonna focus on my podcast. I'm gonna focus on content. I'm gonna focus on, and man, this is like mind blowing during this podcast, right? And I didn't have this in my notes. I'm getting a little excited. But the second one would, in that second day, is like, okay, do your coaching accountability, follow up with the people, see how they're doing, do your coaching calls, whatever you have to do that. And then in the third day, right, there's real estate. Hit the real estate hard, right? Be super efficient while you can in that third day. And then obviously at the end is, have some intentional time with my wife and do what I have to do, chores, cleaning, cooking, right? So all that still has to be done, but I could break down my days that way, and that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to write that down. Focusing on the business, right? That's another excuse. I'm going back to the excuses I have for not doing the podcast. Focusing on my business. I should be focusing on my business either way. And then do people really care to hear what I'm saying? And what I've noticed, right, with this one's huge, right? Because you're like, man, do people really want to listen to what I'm saying, right? Like, man, I'm 27 years old. Do people really want to hear what I'm saying? And here's the thing: I'm so worried about hitting the masses, hitting as many people as I can, is that I'm missing the 5 to, I don't know, maybe even 100 people that I can be really impacting. But I'm so worried, and I'm so caught up of, oh, how many people can I help? How many people? I want to help 1 million people. I want to help 1 million people. It's like, well, before you help 1 million people, you have to be able to help 3 or 4, one, right? So instead of focusing on all that huge number, focus on one, right? How do you build a wall? One brick at a time, right? You lay that brick, nice. The next brick can go up, one person at a time, right? So that's a limited belief right there. And people are going to judge me. This is a huge one. I think that's what stops a lot of people. People are worried about what other people are gonna think. Too much, like, hey, oh man, they're not gonna like my background, right? They're not gonna what I say. I stutter a lot, right? I forget what I'm gonna say a lot. I do all these things, right? Sometimes my English is not the best. I don't speak, I don't speak well English, or I don't speak English well. See, there you go. I already messed that up, right? I don't really care. I'm getting past the point where I just don't care. So those are some excuses and limited beliefs that I have, that the reason why I'm not doing the podcast. And so I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do to do it and to stay more consistent, because I talk about consistency, right? And being committed, and I haven't been practicing it. Now, going into my business, right, just to be completely honest with you guys, going into business, it hasn't been the best year for me compared to last year, right, when I received Rookie of the Year. But I can't stay complacent and allow that, oh, I got Rookie of the Year. Who cares, bro? We moved on from that. You got that award in January, bro. You know what I mean? So some excuses I have for my business. That coffee's good. Market is slow. Right? Blaming the market. Market is slow. People don't want to buy or sell right now. Again, blaming others, not taking full responsibility. I don't know what to say at times, right? When I'm door knocking, prospecting, sometimes I get a little tongue tied. Was that going to stop me? People aren't getting back to me. I'm not even going to go into that one right now. I'm gonna go into it on the next one. People don't like when I keep contacting them. Like these are people don't like when I door knock on their when I knock on their doors. It's too late to door knock. People are going to think that I bug, right? So all those things that I just said right now are limited beliefs. I mean, people, as far as contacting people and following up with people want to know that you care, right? When you're doing real estate, when you're running a business, they want to know that you're taking care of them, and that you're fulfilling their needs and what they really need to get done, right? And that's buy a home or sell a home. And by me thinking, hey, they're going to think I'm bugging them, or they don't like when I'm contacting, or they don't like when I'm knocking on their door, those are all limited beliefs, because even if 1 or 2 people don't like it, not everyone's super mean about it. I notice when I'm door knocking, I'll run into maybe 3 rude people a day, compared to like the 20 nice people that I ran into, and they just take my information. Doesn't really go anywhere most of the time, but hey, I'm showing my face. I'm out there. I'm putting that sweat equity in. So I've been making that excuse. Same thing with follow-up, right? It's like I contact these people, and sometimes I'm like, man, do I need to keep contacting these people? Am I bugging them? Are they really receiving something from what I'm doing here? And again, those are excuses. They're excuses, and they're stopping me from getting the results that I've been wanting to do. And I'm gonna talk about results and that once we clean it up at the end. So those were some excuses and limited beliefs I have for my real estate business. Now my accountability coaching, right? This is something that we started doing, and I know and I get it, because people are like, man, you need to focus on one thing. So I get that, but I feel like I've been called to do these things, and maybe I do. Maybe I got to focus on one or the other, but I have the time. That's the thing. I know I have the time, and I know I can get all of them done and do it at 100%, right? My main focus is real estate, but I could do the coaching. I could do the podcast on the side. So accountability, I haven't really accomplished it, right? There's a couple of things I have, like when I'm helping people with their weight loss. It's like, oh, well, dude, you still haven't hit 190, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, bro, but I've lost like 40 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off, even though I've been struggling with it, and I've been struggling with my diet. I'm gonna talk about systems to get back on, but getting to 190 is next. People don't want to fix their problems. I'm like, man, some people just like the life they live. Like, why am I bugging them? But at the same time, I'm like, man, I need to speak life into people. I gotta help change their mindset if they want to change it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people, and that's okay. You don't have to want to change all the time, or I got to realize I can't help everybody. I'm not called to help everybody. I'm called to help the people that I've been called to help. If that makes sense. Can I get an amen? Amen. All right, you guys heard it, right? People are stubborn. People are always going to be stubborn, right? I'm not worthy yet. Man, I don't like this one. That's a huge, I'm not worthy yet. It's like, man, no, I am worthy. Because I've been through a couple of things that I can help people struggling and struggling what they've been going through. Yeah, you know what? I am worthy, man. Waiting for my wife and I to get the system right? Back to systems, man. Always focused about getting it right from the beginning, getting it going from the beginning. It's like, no, man, just go and do it. Go and do it. Stop making excuses. Stop having these limited beliefs, right? So that's what the accountability coaching. Now, the next one, getting to 190 pounds, getting to 190, road to 190. I do have some limited beliefs. I have excuses. There's things I struggle with. You know, I've been heavy my whole life. That's kind of an excuse. Like, hey, man, I've been just big my whole life. I'm big boned. It's like, nah, man, your bones ain't that big. You big. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I wish I had an audience right here. At least someone could laugh and with me, and not just laugh by myself. But can I really get there, right? It's way too hard to eat clean all the time. Excuse, right? Because it doesn't have to happen all the time. You just got to be able to know how to control yourself. And then this is a big one, right? And I had a conversation at a table. You know, my pastor was there. A couple of us were there, and you know, I still have a bad relationship with food. I think that's a limited belief, because I feel like deep down I still believe that I have a bad relationship, and so it's almost like an excuse to be able to be like, you know what, I have a bad relationship with food. This is just how it is. This is how, you know what I mean? I think it's an excuse. I think about food all day. Right? I really do think about food all day, but I got to start thinking about the right food, about getting the right nutrients in my body. Maybe it's not my body type, right? The big bone thing. Yeah, that's not true. I blame others for eating bad. I blame my brother Luigi, my hermano. I blame my buddy JC. We call him Doubles now after this weekend. That's insider, man. Food is too good. Yes, food is great, but so is good food. I give in when it comes to food. I do all the time. And that's something that I had a conversation with my wife. I think she's on Instagram right now. I had a conversation. It's like, man, like, you know, we got to help each other stay accountable. But the thing with me is I don't like when people tell me what to do. So when my wife's like kind of like trying to hint to me like, hey, that's enough. Like, bro, you had like 18 cookies already. Or you had like 3 pieces of cake or the whole cake probably. Like, chill out. She knows not to kind of tell me, because it's not that I snap, but it's not like I'm just like, and I just do it anyways, you know. So it doesn't help us when she's trying to tell me. So I said, hey, let's come up with a system where I'm not gonna take it wrong, you're not gonna take it wrong, and we're gonna be able to help each other. So we're going to talk about that right now, right? So we talked about limited beliefs and excuses with the podcast, business performance, accountability coaching business, getting to 190 pounds, right? So these are some of the things I've been struggling with lately. And then now I'm going to be, what am I going to do about it, right? How are we going to fix those problems, or how are we going to find a solution or systems to help that? And what can help you if you're struggling with some of the same things, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one struggling with these things. So first off is always going to God for me, right? I go to God and say, hey, can you give me the courage and strength? And I know that asking for it is one part of it, right? Asking, hey God, can you give me the courage and strength to be able to get pushed, past these things, to be able to get a 190. Can you bless my business? Can you bless this? Can you give me wisdom? And I think that's the first part of it. But I still don't think that God, and this is what I feel is, I don't think that God just wants you to ask, right? That's part of it. He wants you to ask, but at the same time, he wants you to put in action, right? He wants you to put in the work. All right, well, you want the courage and strength, right? What are you going to do to receive the courage and strength? What are you going to do to be able to attain courage and strength? Yeah, I can give it to you, but it's almost like you have to earn it, right? So knowing what actions to put in place and being like, hey, God, I'm going to ask for these things, but at the same time, I'm going to go and do something about it. I'm going to go work out every day or, 5 times a week. I'm going to eat better, right? I'm going to go prospect more. I'm going to follow up better. I'm going to just do the podcast, right? Taking action is like it's the second step to it. Right. And I'm sure there's more steps to it, but I'm talking about the first and second step is they ask God for courage and strength and then go and put it into action. Does that make sense? I'm freaking fired up. I don't even know if I could say freaking, but I just did. And I'm sorry if you're offended. Sorry, need a little break. I'm getting a little too excited. So now the next one is implementing better systems for accountability. Right. I talked to you about accountability coaching, and then now implementing those better systems for accountability. One of my best systems that I use is the 122 challenge. Hands down, it's the best accountability that I have because it keeps me going, right? It keeps me going. You guys know, right now I have a couple that I've been doing. The biggest one is waking up at 4 a.m. every single day. Every single day without failure. 3:54 a.m. No matter what, I'm up. And I'm on today's day 79. Tomorrow will be day 80. I failed once at it already. I failed a couple of times, but the big one is I had got to 38, failed because I got really sick. And then I had to start all over. So now I'm on day 78. And then same thing with working out. I had to start all over. I had got down to day 200. I had to start all over. So I'm also on day 78. But that's a great system to be able to get you going, right? To hold you accountable. Why? And the reason it works is the key is the accountability. The key is accountability because you're accountable to the people you're posting, right? On social media. It's almost like, man, I can't let these people down. And that's how much I feel like, man, people are like, dude, this guy wakes up at 4 a.m. every single day or before 4 a.m. Like there's accountability there. Like I'm not going to fail because there's too many people watching. And that's why I post it on social media every single day so I can stay accountable. That's exactly why I do it. And that's a form of accountability there. I'm putting more systems in place where I'm tracking everything, right? For my business, I track my numbers every single day, and I hate putting those zeros in, right? So I'm part of this program with David Hopper, super great program. We put in how many contacts how many leads we got in a day, how many contacts did we make, how many appointments did we ask for, how many appointments did we have. I hate putting zeros, but that's a form of accountability, right? Because we're tracking and we know exactly what's going on every single day. Like there's no hiding from it. It's like, dude, like it's here. This is why you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm starting to notice that a lot, right? So that's another system. Now there's a system that my wife and I are implementing as far as eating, right? Because a lot of the eating is like when we're hanging out with people. Now we're going to have a key word or a key phrase that we say again. So because I don't like being told what to do, is like, hey, this is something we agreed on. This is something we spoke about. Now you got to be accountable because we spoke about this. It's not like, hey, I'm telling you now, this is something we agreed on. So we have a certain phrase that she's going to say, or I'm going to say. It's mostly her saying to me because I'm the one that's out of control most of the time. But we're going to be saying that certain phrase to help keep each other accountable and not really frustrate each other. So find something that works for you. Find an accountability partner. Find a mentor, right? That's another good one is, hey, hey, I'm struggling with this. What do you suggest I do? How can you help me, or how can I help you? How can I provide you value so I get helped at the same time? So does that make sense? Because accountability is huge, and I know it works because I literally put this guy Kevin Salvador on accountability program with his weight loss, and dude has lost 27 pounds, going on 20, yeah, 27 pounds. I think was his lowest. He might be like around 25, 26 today because of the Hills' birthday weekend and Mother's Day. So I think he's like around 25 right now. But he lost 27, 25 pounds just on accountability. I didn't give him a diet plan. I didn't give him, hey, you need to do this. You need to do nothing. All I said is like, hey, dude, all I want you to know is if you worked out every single day, I want you to put your weight on this spreadsheet every single day. I want you to track your calories and put your metrics. That's it. I don't care what you do for a workout. I don't care what you do eat. It doesn't matter, because I know he's losing weight because of accountability, and I truly believe it, and it's working. And that's the thing. That's a crazy thing. It's working. So accountability is huge, guys. And I feel like I need to have a whole different podcast just for accountability. So we'll get there. Getting my mind right and feeding myself so I can feed others. Right. I think that one's huge. If I get my mind right and say, hey, I'm gonna take the right action. Right. I'm gonna go out there and just do it. Right. But before that, I think we there's something that I've been focusing on and it just implementing is remembering why I do what I do. And that with just remembering why, that's gonna encourage me and that's gonna help me take the right action, right? So as far as the podcast, hey, we want to reach all these people. We want to help people, right? The podcast, it's something that they can listen to, something that they can engage with. So the reason I do the podcast is to help encourage people, help inspire people, right? Tell the story that I'm going through. Share little nuggets here and there that I'm picking from feeding myself, right? So I'm feeding myself and it's just overflowing now. I'm able to help other people. So I got to remember the why, right? Why do I want to excel in business? It's not to have all the money in the world. I don't care for the money, but it's be able to provide for my wife and God willing, my future family. Performing the business. Hey, I want to retire my wife. I always say that, but really I want to promote her. And so that, once we have family that, our children, she can stay at home. And that's a huge why for me. And that's why I work hard every single day. So because of those whys, right? So those whys are important. Why do I want to have accountability coaching? Because I love doing it. I love helping people. And then I think like the people I'm helping right now, I'm not even charging them and I love it. Like it's crazy. Like, so if I could make a living off just coaching and like real estate together, right? That's a dream. That is amazing. So that's why I do the coaching. It's not for the money. I don't like the money. I don't even care for. I know it's going to come eventually, but I want to help people. Like it's in my heart to help these people just because I know that in the school system, and I don't even want to get into that, but the way people are raised, we just don't learn certain things, and so our minds are closed off. Where if we just allow people to help us expand, it will happen. And then same thing with getting to 190 pounds. I want to inspire, I want to encourage people like, hey man, you could do the same thing. You set your mind to a certain goal. You want to get right. You want to be able to be healthy for your family. That's what drives me, man. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to go work out like for me, I want to be selfish and just be like, I'm going to lay in bed. I want to just eat all the food I want to eat. I want to be selfish, right? Because I don't really care for that beach body thing. And it's great. Yeah, right. It's going to come with it. But I think it's mostly like, man, how did you lose that weight? Let me tell you how I did it. I tracked my calories. I stood accountable every single day, right? So that's why I do what I do. And I got to remind myself constantly why I do what I do. So that's part of it. Now, another thing is finding ways to be more efficient, not get so distracted. So I developed a system where I have these weekly to do things, and I have to do them. I haven't been doing a very good job of accomplishing all of them, and I know why I'm where I'm at right now. But so I'm gonna be honest. Last week I was at 50%. Right? I need to get that up. So this week, today, I got on here, and yesterday I took a day off with my wife. We had a beautiful day together. It was awesome. I loved it, but I knew this morning coming in, I had to get to work. and I got to work right away. And so I got to accomplish these things, right? I want to be closer to the 80. I mean, obviously 190 would be great, but realistically there's a lot of tough things on there that, hey, I might not hit every week. But it's a good system, right? So I got to find ways to be more efficient. That's going to help me be more efficient and not get so distracted, not want to just scroll Facebook, scroll Instagram, because that can happen, right? So just being more efficient, right? Then when being more efficient is, hey, what does your schedule look like, right? Because my schedule, I did it yesterday and it helped me today because I got into my office right here and I knew exactly what I was going to do, right? The setup took a little bit longer than expected, but I know what I have to hit. I know I have to do certain things, certain follow-up. I got to go door knocking later, so I got to prepare for that. So by developing my schedule and doing that every single day and knowing what I'm going to do for the rest of the day is going to help me be more efficient. It's going to help me not get so distracted all the time because I know, hey, I got to get these things done. And then just saying, hey, man, stop crying, right? We all want to cry sometimes, but stop crying and take more action. That's about it, man. So to help those excuses and help those limited beliefs is take more action. Stop making excuses. Take more action. Take more action. Take more action. Action cures all. And I believe it. I mean, literally, right? You think about action, right? And we can have a whole different podcast on action because, I mean, it's crazy, right? To be able to have a good spiritual life, to be able to have a good relationship with God, you got to take some type of action, right? You got to get in the Word. You got to go pray, right? You got to attend church, build that community, build those people around you. That all takes action, right? Matthew, dang it, I think it's Matthew 7:7. It's, asking you shall receive, seeking you will find, knocking the door shall be open to you. All those things are actions. Ask, it's an action. Seek, it's an action. Knock, it's an action, right? So we got to take more action, right? Because everything, right? Better business, action. Better podcast, action. Better body, action. Better marriage, action. Being intentional, right? So that's all I want to share with you guys today. I hope you guys got something good today. I promise you that we're gonna take more action. We're gonna be a lot more consistent with these things. We're gonna get some people on here, even if it's my wife and I just coming on here and sharing some of the things that we do to be intentional with our marriage. We're gonna do it. We're gonna figure out a way to be more consistent with the things that we've been called to do. Not making so many excuses and just really being accountable to you guys, to each other. So if you guys need help with some accountability, hit me up. We're gonna be doing some good stuff with accountability. I'm excited. I'm excited to implement those 3 days that I was talking about in one day, right? Morning, right? Focusing on feeding, working on my body, working on my mind, working on my spiritual life, my relationship with God. Second day is really focusing on the podcast content, coaching. And then the third day, really focusing on real estate, prospecting, follow up, building that business. And then obviously at the end of the day, once my wife gets home from work, being intentional, doing what we have to do, cooking, chores, just spending quality time together. So that's how my 3 days are gonna be broken up now. And I really like that. I listened to that maybe a couple of months back, and now I just got to go and implement it. So I hope you guys learned something today. I learned something as I was doing this, so that's always a good thing. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I can't wait to upload this content. I'm going to work on it right away to get it out. But you guys are amazing, man. That's all I got to say. And thank you guys for being on. Thank you guys for always supporting. Share this with somebody. I don't think I say that enough. Share this with somebody. Share this, tag somebody. Maybe somebody's struggling with excuses. Don't say, hey, bro, you're struggling with excuses. Here you go. But say, hey, man, this guy's struggling with excuses. I know you're struggling with a couple of things. This guy that has a voice and he's out there trying to help people. He's struggling too. Listen to this; it might help you out. But so yeah, share this with somebody. Go on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. It's always awesome to see those, and we just want to impact more people, guys, and want to encourage more people. But to end it like we always end it, if nobody loves you, Jesus loves you. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.